Travel alert, using the unlocked door, you travel south, taking a few moments to arrive. Entering the hall from the north, your initial reaction is that a lot of time and expense was put into the creation of this chamber, as both the western and eastern walls are adorned with artistic carvings of strong, proud dark elves vanquishing all before them. At the far southern end, you see what appears to be a sculpture standing in the center of the hallway, another magical doorway just behind it. As you begin to survey the entrance hall, let's do a party spirit check and see what comes of that. Needing a 13 or less from your heroes, a 19 was rolled. Failure, no, unfortunately, nobody senses anything more here. You've encountered a highly decorated hallway and that's about it. These carvings are the most elaborate I've seen here in Grimtier, O'Ferry's comments after a little while, your heroes continuing to gaze upon the drawings on the walls as you pass by them. If we had the time, I am sure they could tell us much. In the few minutes that you have now, let's do a party curiosity check to see what you do discover. Needing a 11 or less from your heroes, a 14 was rolled. Failure, you sense that O'Ferry's is right, the carvings tell not just one but several stories regarding the Drow and their sad, frustrating experience within Sicelus. Unfortunately, that's about all you sense right now. Eswin then bends down, retrieving a blood-stained arrow on the floor. Several more of your party find traces of a recent battle as well. There are no bodies here, but you suspect that combatants were here in the hallway quite recently. Perhaps a search of the chamber will reveal more. The Drow battled someone, or something, down here, Redfern suggests, finding more combat-oriented artifacts lying about. I wonder what happened to them. Disintegrated by the circle most likely, O'Ferry's answers, a bit angry. This is likely where the Drow made a final stand. Noticing something else on the floor, Ariana bends over and picks up what appears to be an all-white, porcelain dagger. Paying little interest, the elf brushes the dagger off and slips it into her pack. Meandering your way to the far southern end of the entrance hall, you take a good look at the white sculpture here, resting on a raised dais and standing about 6 feet tall. The statue appears to depict a young dark elf woman, standing tall against any who would oppose her. A closed door, containing no doorknob or way of being opened, similar to the magical door that allowed you into this hall, sits just 20 feet away further south. Inspecting the sculpture, let's do an intelligence check on your hero to see what you may recognize here. Needing a 14 or less from your heroes, a 14 was rolled. Success, yes, you recognize the sculpture. It's a depiction of the dark elf hero Duni, the survivor, who survived the Age of Damnation and ceaseless banishment and has been worshipped almost like a goddess by the Drow ever since. While the sculpture is intriguing, it appears that your party has reached a dead end here. There is little more you can do or go. How do we open this door? Eswin asks, turning his attention toward it. There is something missing from the statue, Ariana then observes. Retrieving the porcelain dagger she had just found elsewhere in the hallway, Ariana carefully slides the dagger back into place, the object fitting perfectly. A moment later, the head of the statue turns toward Ariana, the sculpture seemingly coming to life. It then stands a bit straighter and looks to you with cold, white, inanimate eyes. I am the semblance of Duni, the survivor, the statue states, her voice feminine, dark elven and surprisingly natural sounding. Are you here as well to claim the Wizardbane? Janet, let's do a wisdom check here on your hero to determine what your hero may be thinking. Needing a 14 or less from Janet, a 7 was rolled. Success, your intuition kicks in, telling you that the statue is not only vitally important but that it's just fended off the inner circle itself, so it must be incredibly powerful. Proceed with extreme caution here. Perhaps recognizing something crucial herself, O'Ferry's turns her back to the sculpture and pulls you aside, whispering her concerns. I read about this being in our research, the sorceress begins, ensuring she can't be overheard. If we say the wrong thing, she will bar our entry forever and we will never retrieve the Wizardbane. Turning back toward the statue, all eyes look to you as you answer whether you're here for the Wizardbane. Choose an option. What did you say your name was again? Yes, but were enemies of the circle as well, yes, to stop an evil mage from getting it? Enemies, you say? The porcelain lifeform responds, suspicious. The inner circle has always been the enemy of the drow, recently killing all of us down here to destroy the Wizardbane. Tell me why I should allow you the chance to secure it? Even O'Fairies looks to you with deep concern, waiting for you to respond. Intuitively recognizing that the entire fate of your quest to retrieve the Wizardbane might hang on your next response, what do you say? Choose an option. Charisma, only we can defeat the circle. Intelligence, we will put the blade to good use. Wisdom, we wish to avenge the drow. Why would you want to avenge us? The white statue responds, likely cynical. The drow have been banished from civilization for nearly 1,000 years, nobody has ever cared about us. What would you gain by securing the Wizardbane and defeating the circle? The porcelain statue pauses a moment, then glances upon each of your heroes, continuing the conversation. Who, here, represents this adventuring party, and dares incur my wrath if I so choose? Uh-oh, that didn't sound good. Who do you choose? Choose an option. Ask Cartha to represent the party, ask O'Fairies to represent the party yourself. The spirit score for Janet remains the same. You nod affirmatively that you are the leader here and that this is your journey to take, come what may. Your fellow adventurers agree, the response once again increasing their trust in you. Then approach, the animated statue commands. Come, join with me. Unsure of what is about to happen, you slowly step toward the semblance of Duni, soon reaching her. The porcelain woman then reaches out and touches your forehead, and suddenly, all goes dark. A moment later, you find yourself in a completely darkened place, absolutely nothing to look at. Indeed, you're not sure if the area is totally dark or if you've been blinded, either way, you can't see a thing. A ghostly being then appears about 30 feet away, translucent but glowing enough so that you can make out an outline. As the being steps toward you, it appears to be an older female dark elf, likely a magic user. Soon she is directly in front of you, a silvery wisp of a humanoid but seemingly alive nonetheless. This is my reality, the ghostly creature begins, the voice exactly the same as the porcelain statue that apparently has magically brought you here. I once went by the name of Palin, the translucent spirit continues, speaking directly to you. That was years ago, before I was forever drawn into this vessel to protect the Wizardbane. Several have since asked for it, and the circle tried to take it by force, but all of them failed, as will you if I sense the least bit of malice or selfishness. Fearful of the specter but standing your ground, you watch as the woman reaches toward your head and places her hands around your ears, seemingly sensing for something. Although you're alone, let's do a reputation check and see how this goes. You are worthy, the ghostly being whispers, nearly shocked. You've also made a mortal enemy of the circle, I couldn't find a better prospect for the Wizardbane. The glowing creature lowers her hands and takes a step back, addressing you again a moment later. We built this stronghold 2 decades ago to forge the Wizardbane and use it to one day strike down the inner circle. The blade was secured, but the circle learned of our plans, invaded our stronghold and destroyed everyone. You are now all that is left of our once grand vision. I will soon return you to your friends, the translucent drow continues, your time with her almost at an end. Once I open the door, you will find the Hall of Mirrors, which will test your potential and worthiness in ways you cannot comprehend. If you succeed, then, and only then, will you be rewarded with the Wizardbane. And if I fail? You ask, probably not wanting to know the answer. You and all your friends will join me in this magical nothingness until someone else is able to secure the artifact, so beware. The mirrors reflect everything you believe to be true, but not, necessarily, what is true. Act correctly and the Wizardbane is all but yours. Act incorrectly, and you will be doomed for, likely, all eternity. Seek the truth, for the truth will set you free. And with that, everything goes dark again, the magical bond here breaking and returning your consciousness to the entrance hall. Suddenly back with your adventuring party, they are all very pleased. For them, you've been gone for several hours and they were beginning to fear the worst. What happened? Eswin asks with surprising compassion. Where did you go? Eyeing the white statue, the sculpture no longer animated and totally lifeless now, you open your mouth to explain. Then, the magical door in the southern wall slowly slides open, allowing your party to pass. Come, you instead command with a smile. The Hall of Mirrors awaits. GM note, before moving on, you should take this opportunity to rest and fully heal yourselves. The magical door now open and your final test to claim the Wizardbane just one exit away. It's time to depart the entrance hall here for the Hall of Mirrors beyond. Note that you can rest, relax, and regain your spells first if you wish. Intuition tells you that this final area will be quite challenging and that you will want to be at full strength before you proceed south. Travel alert, using the unlocked door, you travel south, taking a few moments to arrive. Very cautiously passing through the opened magical door, you enter a massive, empty chamber, quite dark and apparently carved out of obsidian, the stone so polished that it reflects your light everywhere with ease. Dominating the walls are hundreds of mirrors, barely distinguishable from the underlying obsidian surface and stretching from floor to ceiling. Because of all the mirrors, you spot not just one reflection from your party but hundreds, as if the chamber contained a multitude of heroes that look exactly like you. Looking around, let's begin the encounter with an initial party curiosity check and see what happens. Needing a 14 or less from your heroes, a 19 was rolled. Failure, proceeding into the chamber, several of your heroes accidentally step directly into several glass panels, causing some painful bruising. It appears that the area is actually a large maze, and you're going to have a difficult time passing through. A maze of mirrors and glass, O'Ferries begins, concerned. We'll need to feel our way through as well as see. Your heroes acknowledge the advice and slowly step forward, reaching outward to detect any glass walls before stepping into them. As the chamber is quite large and very dark, it's going to take a while to search it. Actively searching the chamber, your soft footsteps continuing to reverberate off the cold obsidian floor, the party reflections around you grow more distorted and the air itself seems to possess an almost mystical allure. Indeed, the further you progress, the stranger the entire chamber feels and the more disoriented you become. Soon, all of you are feeling a strong queasiness that's starting to interfere with your ability to walk, function and defend yourselves. Hence, we will need to do death ray or poison saving throws on the entire party and see what happens. Some of your party may now be suffering from disorientation. Shaking off the disorientation as best you can, your heroes push forward, trying to find their way through the reflective maze. As if the going wasn't challenging enough, you then notice the mirrors themselves are beginning to shift and distort, exacerbating the disorientation to your heroes and making it seem like there are many other duplicates of yourselves moving about within the maze, several of whom look eerie and even monstrous. At this point, let's do a party intelligence check and see what happens. Needing a 14 or less from your heroes, a 10 was rolled. Success, seeing the illusions for what they are, your heroes promptly dispel them, saving all of you from what would have been a vicious attack. You then continue your march through the maze. Fumbling forward, and with no true idea whether you're making any progress through the maze, you reach what seems to be a corner, your likenesses reflecting off the mirrors from an extremely close range now. The location gives your heroes a brief opportunity to catch your breaths and reorient yourselves. Suddenly, something begins to materialize directly before your party, hovering in the air about 10 feet away. Moments later, you recognize what has appeared. Of all people, it's the Enlightened One who you fought back in the Dome of Decisions at the very beginning of this module. The Enlightened One looks to you with that same murderous outrage she attacked you with before. How do you react? Choose an option. Charisma, tell her you don't want to fight. Intelligence, try to strike a deal with her. Wisdom, consider if she's an illusion. Enlightened One. O'Ferries cries, recognizing her and immediately afraid. Studying the woman before you, your last encounter with her extremely perilous and nearly fatal, She certainly seems real, but a small part of you doubts, especially given your current circumstances. If she is an illusion, it will be difficult to dispel. The woman looks very believable and the situation feels dire. Still, let's have your hero concentrate on the enlightened one and try an intelligence check. Needing a 13 or less from Janet, a 11 was rolled. Success. It's an illusion. You cry, seeing the magic for what it is and desperate for your party to see through it as well. Concentrate. Dispel the illusion, it's not real. One by one, each of your heroes recognize the trick for what it is, and moments later the illusion of the enlightened one is gone. By thunder! Redfern exclaims, so relieved to not have to battle such a powerful foe. The illusion dispelled, you can now continue your way through the mirror-filled chamber. Well done with trying to dispel the illusion. Let's reward the party with some bonus experience points. Each hero earns 556 experience points. Moments later, the mirrors all around you begin to crack, the glassy panels forming the maze you're standing within splintering as well, the noise soon becoming almost deafening. Shards of glass then detach from the walls, slowly levitating toward the far southern wall of the dark chamber. Doing your best to avoid the flying shards, the broken glass soon begins to amalgamate, forming some sort of highly magical creature with a head, arms, legs and central torso. Glittering in your light, the amalgamation process soon completes, all the mirrors here now completely shattered and a colossus of glassy shards now standing before you. One final boss it seems, Eswin comments, preparing himself for a final, challenging fight. Any advice? It's some sort of golem with anti-magic properties. O'Ferries warns. Best not to use magic against it? The mirror amalgamation then steps forward, your destruction its only goal. Your party is under attack. Facing the entire party is one mirror amalgamation. It's Muriel Ev's turn. What do you want her to do? Needing a 40 or less on percentile dice, a 71 is rolled. Failure. Marioleth tries to blend into the shadows but is Janet uses a blink dog on mirror amalgamation, biting it for 4 points of damage for a half hour. It's O'Ferris' turn. What do you want her to do? O'Ferris casts Ice Storm on roughly half of all encountered combatants, mirror amalgamation, causing nothing to happen, as mirror amalgamation is immune to all magical effects. It's Barthal's turn. What do you want him to do? Needing a 50 or less on percentile dice, a 80 is rolled. Failure. Redfern uses a Hellhound pup on mirror amalgamation, breathing fire on it for 2 points of damage for a half hour. Mirror amalgamation attacks Ariana with its fists, needing a 24 to hit. Die roll is a 18, plus 14 to hit. Mirror amalgamation hits Ariana, punching her for 7 points of damage and leaving Ariana with It's Ariana's turn. What do you want her to do? Ariana uses a Boots of Speed on herself, allowing herself to act twice each round for 5 minutes. It's Seniers' turn. Seniers readies his mace +1 and swings at mirror amalgamation, needing a 22 to hit. Die roll is a 18, plus 6 to hit. Seniers hits mirror amalgamation, doing 7 points of damage and leaving it with 109 hit points. However, the damage dealt to the mirror amalgamation is then reflected on Seniers, harming him for 8 points of damage. It's Eswin's turn. What do you want him to do? Eswin uses a Boots of Speed on himself, allowing himself to act twice each round for 5 minutes. GM note, a new combat round has begun. Initiative is rolled, with higher values acting first. Kartha casts Cure Light Wounds on Sainadius, healing him for 8 hit points. It's Ariana's turn. What do you want her to do? Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing a 22 to hit. Die roll is a 6. Eswin readies his longsword +2 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing a 22 to hit. Die roll is a 18. Needing a 40 or less on percentile dice, a 24 is rolled. Success. Janet readies her mace +2 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing a 22 to hit. Die roll. Sainadius casts Bless on the entire party, potentially blessing them. Janet is blessed for 10 minutes. Ariana is blessed. Redfern directs his Hellhound pup at Mirror Amalgamation, breathing fire on it for 2 points of damage and leaving it with 100 hit points. Needing a 50 or less on percentile dice, a 12 is rolled. Success. Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation. Eswin readies his longsword +2 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing a 21 to hit. Kartha readies her mace +1 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation. Janet directs her Blink Dog at Mirror Amalgamation, biting it for 2 points of damage and leaving it with 9. O'Ferris readies her Quarterstaff +2 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing a 21 to hit. Redfern readies his Quarterstaff +1 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing a 21 to hit. Die roll is a 19, +5 to hit. Redfern hits Mirror Amalgamation, doing 4 points of damage. GM note, a new combat round has begun. Initiative. Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation. Eswin readies his longsword +2 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing a 21 to hit. Die roll is a 18, +8 to hit. Eswin hits Mirror. Marialeth readies her longsword +1 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing a 17 to hit, +4 due to hiding in shadows. Arthal readies his short sword +1 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing a 17 to hit, +4 due to hiding in shadows. Sainadius casts Cure Light Wounds on Ariana, healing her for 10 hit points. It's Janet's turn. What do you want her to do? Janet readies her mace +2 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation. Redfern casts Invisibility 10 radius on roughly half the party, potentially, rendering invisibility on them. O'Ferris readies her Quarterstaff +2 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing a 21 to hit. Die roll is a 20, which is an automatic hit. Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing a 21 to hit. Eswin readies his longsword +2 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation. Redfern directs his Hellhound pup at Mirror Amalgamation. It's Kartha's turn. What do you want her to do? Kartha readies her mace +1 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation. GM note, a new combat round has begun. Initiative. Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing a 21 to hit. Die roll is a. Eswin readies his longsword +2 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing a 21 to hit. Needing a 40 or less on percentile dice, a 65 is rolled. Redfern directs his Hellhound pup at Mirror Amalgamation, breathing fire on it for. Redfern readies his Quarterstaff +1 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing a 21 to hit. Die. Sainadius readies his mace +1 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation. Kartha casts Cure Moderate Wounds on Ariana, healing her for 19 hit points. It's Ariana's turn. Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing a 21 to hit. Die roll is a 18. Eswin readies his longsword +2 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing a 50 or less on percentile dice. A 32 is rolled. Janet casts Cure Moderate Wounds on Eswin, healing him for 16 hit points. It's O'Farrah's turn. O'Farrah's readies her quarterstaff +2 and swings at Mirror. Janet directs her Blink Dog at Mirror Amalgamation, biting it for 4 points of damage and leaving it with GM note. A new combat round has begun. In it, Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation. Eswin readies his longsword +2 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing a 21 to hit. Sainairs readies his mace +1 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing. Kartha casts Cure Light Wounds on Ariana, healing her for 8 hit points. Needing a 40 or less on percentile dice, a 61 is rolled. Janet readies her mace +2 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing a 21 to hit. Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing a 21 to hit. Barthol readies his short sword +1 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing a 17 to hit. +4 Dude. Eswin readies his longsword +2 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation. Redfern directs his Hellhound Pup at Mirror Amalgamation, breathing fire on it. Janet directs her Blink Dog at Mirror Amalgamation, biting it for 2. Redfern readies his quarterstaff +1 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation. O'Farrah's readies her quarterstaff +2 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing. GM note, a new combat round has begun. Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing a 21 to hit. Marioleth readies her longsword +1 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation, needing a 21 to hit. Die roll is a 3. Barthol readies his short sword +1 and swings at Mirror Amalgamation. Redfern directs his Hellhound Pup at Mirror Amalgamation, breathing fire on it for 5 points of damage and defeating it. Well done. All combatants have been defeated, ending the battle. Each hero receives 667 experience points. A final blow is struck against the Mirror Amalgamation and it finally shatters completely, thousands of tiny glassy shards falling to the floor all about you. The boss is no more, you've destroyed it. As the chamber goes silent, a glowing humanoid appears just before the magical door in the southern wall. Approaching the ghostly spirit, you quickly recognize her as the Drow sorceress Palin, who magically communicated with you back in the entrance hall a short time ago. The glow of the sorceress is softer now, the spirit gently smiling as you approach. You've both defeated our champions and proved your alliance against the Circle. The glowing humanoid begins, complimenting your party. I release the Wizardbane to your care and wisdom. The spirit of Palin then glides to you, Janet, addressing you directly. Thousands of us sacrificed everything to create and protect the Wizardbane, so think of us, and our plight, when you secure the artifact and, someday, use it to smite the truistics of the Circle. But then go beyond that, and help end the isolation and suffering of the Drow race. Bring our kind back into civilization and help our culture flourish and shine again. Please, all of you, do this, in the name of all the Drow who died to deliver the Wizardbane. Palin's words are very moving, almost touching your soul. How do you respond? Choose an option: altruism, we will also sacrifice what we must; honor, we will use the blade as you intended; tolerance, we will do all we can for the Drow. Well, not only honor the sacrifice you've made here, but make all the sacrifices we must as well to one day take down the Circle, end the banishment of the Drow and reintegrate all of you back into society with dignity and respect. You answer, your response as heartfelt as possible. None of you shall have died in vain. The spirit of Palin smiles, truly believing that your party will now take the baton of justice she is handing you and carry on with their fight, about to leave a final piece of advice. I am not the only spirit who dwells in your past, the ghostly woman begins. There is another soul out there, locked in a magical prison, who you should seek. She goes by many names, but the one I am sure you're familiar with is Sisla. Wait, what? Sainairs replies in near shock, naturally surprised by the advice. The spirit of Palin then fades away, her work here complete and her soul now finally at peace. The magical southern door then slides open, revealing a final chamber beyond, a bright, warm glow emanating from within. Sisla, is locked in a magical prison? Sainadius asks of you, as if you know the answer. That is quite the revelation, Cartha responds instead, quite shocked as well. Never mind that for now, O'Ferry's orders, stepping toward the open door. Hurry, let's seize the Wizardbane. Passing through the magical door, your party steps into what seems to be an outdoor setting, a green and thriving oasis in the middle of a vast, limitless desert. Rich, lush vegetation grows in a circle of about 100 yards, a small pool of water stands nearby and the sun shines down from above. If you haven't somehow just been teleported somewhere outside, it sure feels like you have. Further, you feel your wounds quickly close and all the pain from your recent combat disappears, you've been fully restored. Glancing about, you don't see anyone here or any obvious threats, although you don't see the Wizardbane either. Hence, it appears you will need to do a quick search of this wondrous area. GM alert, Bless is no longer affecting the party. Marching straight ahead toward the exact center of the oasis, it does not take long before you find a glowing stone dais on the ground, some drow inscriptions written upon the base. Floating in the air above the dais is what you assume to be the Wizardbane, a magnificent black longsword inscribed with all manner of runes and glowing softly with a dull orange light. Your prize is literally within reach. First looking to you for approval, Eswin cautiously steps to the dais and reaches for the levitating weapon. Before he can reach it, however, a force field around the blade activates, zapping him with just enough electricity to warn him to stay back. Intuitively recognizing the challenge here, O'Ferries looks down at the writing along the outer wall of the dais, easily reading it to all of you there. My first is a sight, my second confining. My third and last is the Heart of Kings. It's a riddle, Redfern correctly speculates, joining you and O'Ferries. Looks like one final challenge, it seems. Your party considering the puzzle together, how would you like to respond? Choose an option, speak the words Open Sesame in Drow, speak the word Opening in Drow, speak the word Apocalypse in Drow. Yes, exactly. O is a type of psi, pen is something that's confining and ing are the central letters in the word kings. Let's reward the party with some bonus experience points for a correct answer. Each hero earns 278 experience points. Eswin has gained a new energy level and receives 4 new hit points. Rather surprisingly, O'Ferries then steps forward, asking Eswin to back away so she can try to claim the blade. The warrior simply stands there, however, unsure of her motives. Wait, won't the blade kill you if you touch it? Eswin asks, genuinely concerned for the sorceress. Anyone can wield the relic, O'Ferries replies, reaching out for it. But any magic user so much as cut by it could immediately die. And with that, O'Ferries grabs the soft hilt of the blade and pulls it toward herself. She has it. Holding it out in front of herself, the elderly sorceress swings the blade in the air a few times, a huge smile on her face. She is quite excited to have finally recovered the Wizardbane. Indeed, all of you approach O'Ferries with smiles and relief as well, the quest to retrieve the artifact finally at an end. A moment later, a magical portal appears alongside your party, some sort of dimension door leading back to what appears to be the initial entry corridor of the Drow stronghold. You now have an easy way back to the very beginning of the dungeon as well. Turning toward the opened portal, O'Ferries continues to wield the Wizardbane, the quest to find it now at an end. GM note, your quest log has been updated. Click the quests button for all the details. Accordingly, let's end that quest and reward your party with some final bonus experience points. Each hero earns 33 experience points. Sister, you have the Wizardbane. A voice from the northern door calls out. Turning toward the door, standing there is the brother of O'Ferries, the wizard Balybus, who you followed into the Drow stronghold to begin with. The magic user looks exhausted, leaning against the wall in the doorway as if he can barely keep himself on his feet. Brother. O'Ferries calls back, actually happy to see him. Yes, we have it. We finally have it. O'Ferries then begins stepping in the direction of Balybus, surprising all of you. Where are you going? Eswin asks, distrusting of Balybus completely and not wanting to jeopardize the Wizardbane in any way. We spent decades searching for this artifact, O'Ferries responds, continuing on her way. He's still my brother and I owe him a look. Don't worry, he dare not try anything with me holding the blade. Still unsure, Eswin, and then the rest of your party follows O'Ferries, Balybus himself stepping into the oasis to meet all of you about 30 feet from the doorway. Where did you go? O'Ferries asks, now just a few feet from Balybus. I thought you'd beat us to the artifact. I was attacked by those night trolls, the sorcerer returns, out of breath and bleeding it appears. I drank a potion of gaseous form to escape, then hid in the shadows following all of you, barely able to keep up. O'Ferries takes a long look at her brother, very concerned for him. She turns, hands Eswin the Wizardbane, then turns back to Balybus, retrieving some bandages to begin attending to his wounds. Don't bother, the sorcerer mumbles, putting out his own hands to stop. The magic keeping me alive is gone, I am already near death. But we've recovered the Wizardbane. O'Ferries almost shouts, wanting her brother to live. We can finally strike down the circle, avenge our parents and even make the world a better place, just as we imagined. Let's get you back to our own time, that will heal you. At the continued cost of all those lives? Balybus asks, apparently feeling shame for what he did to prolong his life. No, let me die here, at least with a little dignity. I will not. O'Ferries barks, unwilling to let her brother go. You always said you were meant for greater things, you're coming back with us? My loving sister, even to the end, Balybus grins, barely able now to even stand. It appears you have been my destiny all along. Go with this adventuring party and do great things with the Wizardbane. Recognizing that Balybus intends to let himself expire very shortly, and apparently nothing she says will change his mind, O'Ferries starts to cry, stepping to him for what will likely be a final embrace. But you promised we'd do this together, and I never lost my faith in you. We will do this together. Balybus whispers, his voice suddenly taking a very strange tone. But in a way where I live forever. Without warning, Balybus cruelly thrusts a dagger into the exposed belly of O'Ferries, the attack as brutal as it is sudden. The eyes of O'Ferries widen in utter pain and shock, the poison of the blade quickly invading her body to nearly slay her on the spot. Suddenly paralyzed by the poison, O'Ferries falls backward and to the ground, the exposed blade now easily visible to your party. That's a Drow assassin's dagger. Ariana warns, instantly recognizing the deadly weapon. He's murdered her. Golems. Balybus then cries, further confusing your party with his sudden, evil behavior. Lurking just outside the doorway leading into the oasis, a variety of golems step into the magical chamber, taking you nearly by surprise. Not unlike all the golems you encountered back in the laboratory above, enough of the automatons are now reaching Balybus to force you backward a bit. Should a fight break out, you will have a very difficult time of it. As the life of O'Ferries slips away, the wicked sorcerer begins to mumble, apparently reciting some ancient, evil spell, and as the golems form a line alongside Balybus, you watch in both horror and fascination as the magic user draws the very essence of life from O'Ferries, inhaling her spirit in one long, deep breath. As the ritual continues, you then watch as the corpse of O'Ferries unnaturally dries and shrivels, her body quickly drained of all its energy and rendered into a desiccated husk. Similarly, the flesh of Balybus crackles and hardens, his skin withering as well. Let's do an intelligence check on your hero to see if you can determine what is happening. Needing a 13 or less from Janet, a 15 was rolled. Failure, he's turning himself into a lich. Redfern utters, recognizing the ritual and the process but utterly horrified nonetheless. The ritual nearly complete, the eyes of Balybus transform into dark red orbs, not unlike the mummy Khaldun you fought back in the Death Crypt, and moments later the sorcerer turned undead laughs with joy. His plan to murder his own sister, steal her life force and become a powerful lich an obvious success. How dare you? Kartha hisses, not just angered but offended by the betrayal of Balybus to his only sister. First you take the lives of hundreds of drow, but your very own sister? Only the life force of a close family member works. Balybus grins, not repentant in the least. With her life flowing through me, I will now live forever. As if on cue, the desiccated corpse of Ofaris shrivels even more, quickly disintegrating right there within the oasis, her ashes scattered by a local breeze. You wretched fiend! Eswin cries out, just as angry now as Kartha. You will be the first to die by the Wizardbane. That's just it? The newly created lich replies, opening and closing his near-skeletal hands now as he quickly adapts to his new physiology. The Wizardbane only works on living opponents, you can't slay me with that now. Hint, use the items button to have Eswin equip the Wizardbane and prepare it for combat. Well, see about that. Eswin cries, raising the Wizardbane for the first time and needing to smite Balybus as quickly as possible. In turn, the newly formed lich orders his various golems forward as well, beginning a new spell himself. Your party is under attack. About to attack your party are Balybus the lich, 1 amber golem, 2 bone golems, 1 clay golem, 2 flesh golems, 6 wood golems and 3 crystal golems. It's Muriel Ev's turn. What do you want her to do? Marioleth casts lightning bolt on roughly half of all encountered combatants, electrocuting them. Amber Golem avoids the attack altogether. Balybus the lich is electrocuted for 27 points needing a 50 or less on percentile dice, a 38 is rolled. Success. Barthol blends into the shadows, hiding from all combatants and receiving a clay golem closes in on Ariana to attack. Flesh golem number 1 closes in on Eswin to attack. Wood golem number 3 closes in on Eswin to attack. It's Ariana's turn. What do you want her to do? Ariana uses a boots of speed on herself, allowing herself to act twice each round for 5 minutes. Balybus the lich casts charm any combatant on Redfern, nearly charming him but ineffective, needing a 9 or greater. Redfern rolls an 18 and saves versus spells. It's Janet's turn. What do you want her to do? Janet uses a blink dog on Balybus the lich, biting him for 1 point of damage for a half hour. It's Kartha's turn. Kartha casts Spiritual Hammer on Balybus the Lich, bashing him for 3 points of damage for 10 minutes. Balybus the Lich has been defeated. Bone Golem number 1 attacks Janet with its short sword needing a 20. Crystal Golem number 1 attacks Sainadius with its fist needing a 20 to hit. Crystal Golem number 2 attacks Sainadius with its fist needing. It's Redfern's turn. What do you... Redfern casts Fireball on roughly half of all encountered combatants, blasting them in an explosion of flame. Amber Golem is burned for 13 points. It's Senires's turn. What do you... Sainadius casts Spiritual Hammer on Crystal Golem number 1, bashing it for 6 points of damage for 10 minutes. Crystal Golem number 1 has been defeated. It's Eswin's turn. Eswin readies his Wizardbane and swings at Wood Golem number 3, needing a 13 to hit. Die roll is a 15, plus 10 to hit. Eswin hits Wood Golem. GM note, a new combat round has begun. Initiative is rolled, with higher values acting first. Ariana readies her longsword plus 2 and swings at Amber Golem. Sainadius casts Bless on the entire party, potentially blessing them. Janet is blessed for 10 minutes. Ariana is blessed for 10 minutes. It's Redfern's turn. What do you... Redfern casts Phantasmal Force on Crystal Golem number 2, nearly horrifying it, needing a 15 or greater. Marioleth casts Phantasmal Force on Crystal Golem number 2, horrifying it for 5 points of damage. Janet directs her Blink Dog at Crystal Golem number 2, biting it for 2 points of damage and Flesh Golem number 1 attacks Eswin with its fists needing a 22 to hit. Flesh Golem number 2 attacks Kartha with its fists. It's Janet's turn. What do you... Janet casts Spiritual Hammer on Flesh Golem number 1, bashing it for 1 point of... Ariana readies her longsword plus 2 and swings at Amber Golem, needing a 20 to hit. Sainadius directs his Spiritual Hammer at Flesh Golem number 1, bashing it for 1 point of damage and leaving it with 9 hit points. Barthol readies his short sword plus 1 and swings at Flesh Golem number 2, needing a 15 to hit, plus 4 due to hiding in shadows. Kartha directs her Spiritual Hammer at Flesh Golem number 1, bashing it for... Eswin readies his Wizardbane and swings at Flesh Golem number 1, needing a 19 to hit. Die roll is a 13. Kartha casts Cause Moderate Wounds on Flesh Golem number 2, wounding it for 17 points of damage, needing a 14 or greater. Flesh Golem... Clay Golem attacks Ariana with its fist needing a 25 to hit. GM note, a new combat round has begun. Ariana readies her longsword plus 2 and swings at Amber Golem, needing a 20 to hit. Marioleth directs her Phantasmal Force at Flesh Golem number 2, horrifying it for... Bone Golem number 1 attacks Janet with its short sword needing a 24 to hit. It's Janet's turn. What do you want her to do? Janet casts Cause Moderate Wounds on Bone Golem number 2, potentially wounding it, causing nothing to happen, as Bone Golem number 2 is immune to all... Redfern casts Invisibility 10 radius on roughly half the party, potentially needing a 50 or less on percentile dice. A 45 is rolled. Sainadius readies his mace plus 1 and swings at Bone Golem number 2, needing an 18 to hit. Eswin readies his Wizardbane and swings at Bone Golem number 2, needing an 18 to hit. Kartha readies her mace plus 1 and swings at Flesh Golem number 2, needing a 19 to hit. Sainadius directs his Spiritual Hammer at Flesh Golem number 2, bashing it. Janet directs her spiritual hammer at bone golem number 2, bashing it for 4 points of damage and leaving it with 30. Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at amber golem, needing a 20 to hit. Janet directs her blink dog at bone golem number 2. Marioleth casts magic missile on amber golem, striking it with a magic missile for 9 points of damage. It's Kartha's spiritual hammer's turn. What do you want it to do? Kartha directs her spiritual hammer at bone golem number 2, bashing it for 2 points of damage and leaving it with 26 hit points. GM note, a new combat round has begun. Initiative is rolled, with higher values acting first. Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at amber golem, needing a 20 to hit. Die roll. Marioleth casts magic missile on amber golem, striking it. Redfern casts magic missile on amber golem, striking it with a magic missile for 7 points. Kartha directs her spiritual hammer at amber golem, bashing it for 1 point of damage and leaving it with 20 hit points. Sainadius directs his spiritual hammer at bone golem number 2, Janet directs her spiritual hammer at bone golem number 2. Janet uses a skeletal seed on bone golem number 2, causing the monstrous hero to attack it for 8 points of damage for 10 minutes. Kartha readies her mace +1 and swings at bone golem number 2, needing an 18 to hit. Clay golem attacks Ariana with its fists, needing a 29 to hit. Die roll is, it's Ariana's turn. What do you want her to do? Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at amber golem, needing. Janet directs her blink dog at bone golem number 2, biting it for 6 points of damage. Marioleth directs her phantasmal force at amber golem, horrifying it for 6 points of damage, and it's Barthal's turn. What do you want him to do? Barthal readies his short sword +1 and swings at bone golem number 1, needing a 14 to hit, +4 due to hiding in shadows. Die roll. Sainadius readies his mace +1 and swings at bone golem number 1, needing an 18 to hit. Die roll is a 13. GM note, a new combat round has begun. Initiative is rolled, with higher values acting. Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at amber golem, needing a 20 to hit. Die roll is. Janet readies her mace +2 and swings at bone golem number 1, needing a 50 or less on percentile dice. A 54 is rolled. Failure. Sainadius readies his mace +1 and swings at bone golem number 1. Eswin readies his Wizardbane and swings at bone golem. Redfern casts magic missile on clay golem, striking it with a magic missile for 10 points of damage. Marioleth directs her phantasmal force at bone golem number 1, horrifying it for 3. Janet directs her summoned undead at bone golem number 1, causing the monstrous hero to attack it for 2 points of. Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at clay golem, needing a 21 to hit. It's Marioleth's turn. What? Marioleth readies her longsword +2 and swings at clay golem, needing a 21 to hit. Janet directs her spiritual hammer at bone golem number 1, bashing it for 5 points of damage and leave. Kartha readies her mace +1 and swings at bone golem number 1. Janet directs her blink dog at bone golem number 1. Kartha directs her spiritual hammer at bone golem number 1, bashing. Sainadius directs his spiritual hammer at bone golem number 1, bashing it. GM note, a new combat round has begun. Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at clay golem, needing a 21 to hit. Die roll is a 20, which is an off. Marioleth readies her longsword +2 and swings at bone golem number 1, needing an 18 to hit. Janet readies her mace +2 and swings at bone golem number 1. Eswin readies his Wizardbane and swings at bone golem number 1, needing an 18 to hit. Marioleth directs her phantasmal force at bone golem number 1. Redfern casts magic missile on clay golem, striking it with a magic missile for 9 points of damage. Barthal readies his short sword +1 and swings at bone golem number 1, needing an 8. Kartha directs her spiritual hammer at clay golem, bashing it. Janet directs her spiritual hammer at clay golem. Janet directs her summoned undead at clay golem, causing the monstrous hero. Xenadius readies his mace +1 and swings at Clay Golem, needing. Xenadius directs his spiritual hammer at Clay Golem, bashing it for 1 point of damage. Kartha readies her mace +1 and swings at Clay Golem, needing. Janet directs her blink dog at Clay Golem, biting it for 6. GM note: a new combat round has. Redfern readies his quarterstaff +1 and swings at Clay Golem, needing a 21 to hit. Xenadius readies his mace +1 and swings at Clay Golem, needing a 21 to hit. Marioleth readies her longsword +2 and swing. It's Barthal's turn. What do you want him to do? Barthal readies his short sword +1 and swings at Clay Golem, needing a 21 to hit. Janet readies her mace +2 and swings at Clay Golem, needing a 21 to hit. Die roll is a 16, +7 to hit. Janet hits Clay Golem, doing 11 points of damage and defeating it. Well done. All combatants have been defeated, ending the battle. Each hero receives 1338 experience points. All the golems defeated as well as Balybus. The Lich manages to cast a final dimension door spell, throwing all of you a cynical smile before passing through it and gone. Moments later, Balybus has escaped. Damn that sorcerer. Eswin huffs, putting the Wizardbane away. Or whatever the hell he is now. A Lich. Redfern responds, still distressed. He's become quite powerful, and I doubt we've seen the last of him. That's well and good by me, Kartha condemns, herself still quite angry as well. He's responsible for so much death, and his own sister. Evil like that cannot be permitted to exist. Well, fight Balybus another day, you summarize, thankful your heroes at least survived his undead rebirth. For now, let's get back to our own time and place. Your party agrees, but first both Kartha and Xenadius say a quick, thoughtful prayer for Opheres, a brave and loving woman who was brutally betrayed by her own brother so he could magically extend his own life into undeath. All of you swear that someday Balybus will be held accountable for all the life he has taken and be made to pay for his wicked crimes. The golems destroyed, the Wizardbane secured in Eswin's scabbard and all the encounters here within the Dark Elf stronghold complete, it's time to leave the oasis and return to the original entry corridor above through the nearby dimension door. Janet casts Cure Moderate Wounds on Ariana, healing her for 12 hit points. Janet casts Cure Light Wounds on herself, healing her for 8 hit points. Kartha casts Cure Moderate Wounds on Eswin, healing him for 9 hit points. Kartha casts Cure Light Wounds on Ariana, healing her for 12 hit points. Your party rests and recovers for 8 hours. Wounds are tended, spells are memorized and your heroes are refreshed and re-energized. Travel alert, using the teleporter, you travel up, taking a few moments to arrive, stepping through the magical dimension door, an experience you're starting to grow accustomed to. Your party immediately arrives back within the initial entry corridor of the Drow stronghold, safe and sound. While you could, of course, proceed north and explore the stronghold all over again, everyone in the party wants to climb the stairway leading up and depart the dungeon as soon as possible, both tired and somewhat dejected with the loss of Opheres. Climbing the stairway back up, the reverse effect you experienced within the manor ruins occurs. several hundred years of time passing by around you in the span of just a few surreal moments. As you reach the top of the stairway and re-emerge within the manor ruins, you sense that you're back within your own time, the magical portal to the Drow stronghold now severed permanently and impossible to take again. Quickly glancing about, you spot the bed and small library of Balybus, along with the small magical pool that was keeping Balybus alive, and is still draining the life out of the dark elves beyond. But there is no sign of the newly born Lich. Balybus has indeed escaped. That monster is gone, begins Redfern, eyeing the magical pool beyond. But we need to destroy that bath over there immediately, let's go. In agreement, you lead your party to the pool, standing alongside it moments later. I still feel aged, Sainadius begins, uncomfortable with what he's about to recommend. There is no way to return this living energy to the Dark Elves, but we could use it ourselves to restore what the aging sickness has already taken from us. Your heroes reluctantly agree, and one by one each of you wade into the pool, absorbing a small part of the life force energy stolen from the Drow to restore your own missing life force. Aging disease removed from each hero and 2 new hit points received. Minutes later, all of you are refreshed and re-energized, your youth fully restored. Using up all of the remaining energy in the pool, it has reverted to ordinary water and, for the moment, isn't magical. Sainadius nods to you, then unsheathes his melee weapon and sets to work, smashing the stony walls of the pool. Kartha joins in, and in no time the magical pool is reduced to rubble. It will no longer steal any life force from the Drow beyond. Congratulations, you've saved the Dark Elves and ended at least some of their misery. GM note, your quest log has been updated. Click the quests button for all the details. Having brought the aging sickness to an end, let's give your party some well-deserved bonus experience points. Each hero earns 5,000 experience points. Marioleth has gained a new energy level and receives 3 new hit points and 1 new spell. Click the spells button to assign the new spell. That's about all you can do here. Now, this quest is complete. Your only option is to take the tunnel recently dug by the treants back up and out of the ruins. Climbing back up through the tunnel that the treants had dug for you before your exploration of the Drow stronghold and recovery of the Wizardbane, you emerge back out in front of the manor, the amber material now totally gone but the building itself about to collapse. The amber, the magic solidified that was absorbing all the life energy from everyone in the island, it's gone. Redfern is the first to notice, alerting everyone. The aging sickness is no more. Waiting out here for you as well is Queen Willowheart and about a dozen treants. They are first surprised and then actually glad to see you, the Queen approaching your party with a happy and proud face. You did it? The Queen exclaims, embracing your party in her warm, prickly branches. The curse has been lifted, all of us are whole again. The magic that was slowly draining everyone of their life force, the same magic that had cursed the treants as well, it does indeed seem now like all is well. However, it only takes a few additional moments for Queen Willowheart to notice that O'Fairies is missing and you know that she will take the news of her death quite hard. How do you break the news to her? Choose an option: diplomacy, break the news matter-of-factly; empathy, be incredibly sorry for the loss; spirit, talk about how brave O'Fairies was. Queen Willowheart, our deepest condolences, but O fairies did not survive the quest, Cartha replies, still quite saddened herself with the news. Was it quick? The treant finally asks several moments later, bowing her head in both respect and despair. Did she suffer? Unsure of whether you want to tell the truth here or not, how do you respond to the queen? Choose an option: altruism, be honest and cry with the queen; honor, be honest but hide your feelings; optimism, lie and simply say she died well. The party's reputation score permanently increases by 1 point. She was murdered by her own brother. Cartha answers, beginning to sob herself. Balybus didn't just steal the lives of everyone here in Grimtier, he took her life, too, to transform into a monstrous lich. While incredibly painful to hear, Queen Willowheart thanks your party for being so honest and genuine, wrapping her own branches around you again. And the Wizardbane? The Queen Treant asks, hoping against hope that the sacrifice was worth some sort of gain. With a nod, Eswin draws the blade from his scabbard and holds the artifact up high for all to see, the Wizardbane glowing with a dull orange light. The Queen and several of the Treants take a step closer, intrigued by the sword and happy to know that at least your quest was successful. I can't believe my friend O'Fairies is gone, the Queen finally says, looking about. But it appears she helped save us all, so we will always be in her debt. As shall we, you add, knowing that, without O'Fairies, your party would have been slain back in the Drow stronghold as well, and Balybus would likely have the Wizardbane now. Queen Willowheart, can you consider giving the Drow another chance? Cartha then asks, surprising the Treants. I know they can be selfish and crass, but they've endured way too much and need a new beginning, starting with you. Thinking back on the dark elven spirit who released the Wizardbane to your party and the promise you made to try and someday liberate the Drow, Cartha's question seems like an ideal way to begin, and you second her request. Looking to you with skepticism and doubt, let's do a party reputation check to see which way this goes. We've been at war with the Drow for centuries, the Queen returns in a lowered, reserved voice. But they weren't responsible for this latest crisis, and perhaps they would welcome a new peace too. Very well, for you and in memory of O'Fairies, I will send an envoy to their city and see what can be negotiated. Thank you, Queen Willowheart, you respond, happy to know that the Drow's condition may improve. We made a promise to help the Dark Elves if we can, it's time to forgive and forget. So now where? Ariana asks, taking you somewhat by surprise. Where do we go from here? There is nothing for us back in Leakley, Eswin responds, sheathing the Wizardbane again. As far as I can tell, we're presently stuck here on this island, Sainair's laments, relatively quiet until now. Queen Willowheart, do you know how we can escape? The Treant pauses, at first unsure of how to respond. Grimtier is totally surrounded by very deep waters, so you certainly can't swim your way off. I don't know how you can escape, but I may know someone who does, the Queen replies with a look of concern. There is an old elven druid who lives amongst some odd stones in the far southwestern corner of Grimtier. He's eccentric, most of us just leave him alone. But perhaps he can help. That sounds promising, you respond, grateful for the advice. Southwest you say? I need to return to the forest, Queen Willowheart responds. But I can send my best scout who can guide you to him. Nodding your head in agreement, the Queen fetches her strongest fellow Treant, explaining to her the plan and directing your party to follow her. The rest of the Treants then gather together, about to take the road back to the forest to the northwest. Then safe travels, my friends, Queen Willowheart directs, wrapping her branches around your entire party in one final embrace. Go, and make my friend O'Fairies proud. In complete agreement, your party acknowledges the help and generosity of the Queen and all the Treants here, then turns to follow the scout southwest, embarking on yet another adventure. And that's a wrap of module number 8, Wizardbane. Of course, the next module in the Sorrow of Sisla series is already in development and expected to be released by the end of the year. As always, we hope you've enjoyed this latest module and thanks for continuing to play Browser Quests.